Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Corner. So today I have a question that I'm going to answer. And the question is, how do I get my motivation back when I'm depressed? So this is a beautiful soul that is feeling depressed and is wanting to get her motivation back. And so first, let me tell you about Coach's Corner. So, because this video as well is going on to my YouTube channel, and Coach's Corner is something I do on Sundays in my group Evolve, Unlocking Your Unlimited Potential. And so on Sundays, I always, or before during the weeks, ask people if they have any kind of question that they want answered. And, regardless of if I have my coach's hat on or my psychic medium or intuitive hat on, you could ask any question and I will answer it. So, yeah, so Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time in my group. I'll most likely do live or a Zoom, and so that way I can record it and as well put it onto my channel. So first, I want to say as well that I am not a therapist. I am a coach, and so just that is my disclaimer here. And you can, if you're in my group, you can ask any question, and you can usually just either send me a direct message or put it in the comments section. And if there will be some Sundays where I will do actually live coaching as well. So I will get to the question here. So first, I want to say that, this lovely lady had told me that she's, struggling with depression, but that she tries to get up every morning and accomplish a task. And this lovely lady as well has her own business, so she goes out and does her job. It is her business, so when she wants to work. And the one thing, that I find in our society is that um, we're really taught to not be able to experience all our emotions. The messages you get as a child, whether you're male or female, I believe we both get messages of "Come on, buck up," or um, you know, "You're not depressed, are you?" Or just almost like this, like getting in trouble for feeling some kind of emotion. And I know from my generation, for sure, that was something that um, was just a thing. So, kids were seen and not heard in my days. So we were really we didn't really have that demonstration growing up of expressing emotion, and also, we're kind of given this hidden message to not feel our emotion. And I think that's a really big thing nowadays, is because a lot of times what people use is avoidance. And so, let's say you're not feeling really fulfilled in your job or something, you had a job and you loved that job, and now all of a sudden you're not feeling excited about it or passionate about it. You might have been taught not to even speak about it. And so when, you go to your job and then you come home at night and you cook dinner and maybe you just sit in front of the TV, or, you know, maybe you have a glass of wine and sit in front of the TV, or you, excuse me, play a game, or some people might self-medicate. Um, But avoidance is just not wanting to really feel and experience those emotions. And so, whether they just never think about it, they don't, do things to actually experience and feel those emotions. And what happens with that is that you get used to and caught up doing that. And so, you're just not, it's almost like the more you keep doing that, it's almost like you set this uh, oh geez, sorry, the word is escaping my mind here. Routine, it becomes routine for you to just avoid, and then it's almost like um the depression becomes greater and becomes more something that we experience um because of the avoidance. It's almost like that shrunk our ability to even um look past that set thing that we always do, which whatever it is for avoidance. That's one thing. For another thing, I also think that, right now in this time and, after COVID, people are really, there's a lot of people struggling because our world has changed. And so, and I mean, even more so, even right now, with so many things happening on the planet. So it's really easy for people to, um, not feel really inspired by things on the planet or things in the world right now, because again, a lot of us are taught to just avoid our feelings. So also now, okay, so in my book, which I'm just going to grab here, which I have here, this is my hardcover book. Oops, that is available on Amazon. And I do have this chapter, and it's Healing the Traumatized Brain. So also um, with the depression, and if you're adding on unresolved trauma into that as well, then all these things really pile up. And so, okay. So let me just tell you about this one quick chapter. So healing the traumatized brain. So what happens is that the amygdala is a small almond-sized shaped part of the brain that responds to and kind of um, senses the danger, right? Um, so what happens is that sensory data comes in, and the amygdala processes that. And if the amygdala perceives a threat, then it sends a signal to the hypothalamus. And then the hypothalamus, if it senses danger, it will trigger the release of the stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. And so what happens is that over time, so that puts you in the fight, flight, or freeze uh, response right there. But these are physiological changes that happen. And what happens is that the the amygdala becomes hypersensitive. And so our perceptions become distorted. So that's just a little piece that I talk about to explain that part of it. So avoidance, again, and I can't remember if that's at the beginning of my book or not, because there's certain defense mechanisms that we use. And avoidance would be one of those defense mechanisms because we don't want to be able to experience that pain. So I'm going to give you this little example and show you this one thing that I saw this therapist explain what kind of in a really clear way, a kind of cool way. I want to just do this one thing first. So this is your brain. And on one side, this is your ability to express joy, happiness, love, sadness. And this is our side that is the ability to, um, not even the ability, but the side that is experiencing pain and fear. And so when we avoid things, we don't want to feel that pain. We don't want to feel um, the sadness. We don't want to, whatever it is that we're experiencing, we don't want to experience and feel those emotions. So we just push them off to the side. And so then what we're left with is this side. Well, and again, in our everyday life, we're not we're not really comfortable sitting in our sadness or sitting in, um, our fear. We don't want to face whatever situation, you know, we don't want to face a part of that situation which is causing us that sadness, that pain, that suffering. And so we're avoiding it. So we take off that part. And so this is the space that's left to be able to experience any kind of emotion. And so, again, here's the side that is experiencing the fear and the pain and the doubt. And here's the side that is an ability to experience love and joy and fulfillment. And so, again, we take that piece off because we don't want to have to feel that. And then, so what happens is that all the time that we avoid this side, this is our capacity becomes smaller and smaller to be able to experience love, joy, happiness, fulfillment. And so I love that demonstration because it just shows us that if the more we keep pushing that part of us and that part of our mind aside to be able to experience that, then our whole capacity to experience joy and pleasure and happiness becomes smaller and smaller. And so that other side that experiences the fear and the doubt and the pain and the suffering doesn't go away. It's still there. It just becomes hidden and we push it to the side. So I don't have her here to be able to ask that question, but I would ask the question, do you feel like you use avoidance in your life, and you don't really take the time to sit and experience the emotions that you're feeling? So that would be one question that I would ask. Um, Another thing that I would speak to about that is that, in the book as well, I talk about, the, let me just find it. Sorry. I'm sorry. My brain is not functioning this morning. I can't remember the chapter, but it is uh, the key to all is what I call the chapter. So really the key to all, because in the book I'm talking about limiting beliefs and lots of different things, but the one the one chapter was the key to all. And so what I was going to say about that is that um, at the core, we have a belief, and at the core of our being. And oftentimes there is a belief that is underlying, and it is a belief that we take as truth. And usually everything is driven by that core belief, and it's always at an unconscious level. And so really peeling back the layers to find that core belief is something that's really important. And the three things that I tell people all the time to be able to try to discover um, what is like, when someone is feeling all of a sudden pain or feeling sadness or feeling anger, and you're going through your day and all of a sudden you come home and you just have that really deep despair, that deep pain that you feel, is to check your thoughts. The first thing would be kind of step back, because there is a thought that just went through your head at that time, and that thought is what just uh, controlled your emotion. It created that emotion. And if you're aware of it and you can become conscious of it, you'll be able to break that patterning. Um, The brain is an amazing organ in our body, and there's neuroplasticity. And so we're able to rewire the brain and our thinking. And so, you know, um, when you're going through your day and you're having a pretty good day, and then all of a sudden you feel unmotivated, you feel depressed, you don't want, you just want to go to bed, and really, it's 5 o'clock at night, and you're thinking, okay, I just want to go to bed, I don't even want to be up right now, is to really examine what thought is going through your mind at that exact time, and just trying to become aware of that thought, because that thought is what is creating that emotion for you, and that emotion is driving your action. And so, really, those three things are the key to changing anything. Um, but the ability to be able to rewire the brain. So, um, let me just kind of go back and recap again. So, the first question that I would ask is there avoidance? Are you avoiding? And then, if the answer is yes to that question, yes, I'm avoiding. So, taking time to sit down and journal. So, take out your journal and write ways. What are the ways that you use to avoid feeling your emotions, or to, working through something that is causing and creating depression or stress, or, you know, sadness for you? Because underneath all of that, there will be an event, there will be a moment, there will be a story surrounding what is consistently playing in your mind that causes the depression. Um, and I'm not, again, I'm not talking about someone who's been diagnosed with chronic depression or something like that, a medical term. I am just talking about um, feeling depression and how to work through that. So sitting down and, taking out a journal, writing out the ways that you are avoiding. If, again, if the answer was yes to that, are there certain times throughout the day that feel more for you, where you feel more heaviness, more grief, more sadness, more depression? Writing out the times of the day, because maybe there's certain times throughout the life, but really documenting every day the feelings that are coming up for you. Um, and then, another thing I would do is think about, um, things that used to bring happiness, activities. So there's one thing, and again, it's escaping my mind here, but so there is a difference between feeling depressed, or just uh, okay, coming through the door from after work, and again, avoiding whatever it is that you've just dealt with or went through during the day, and then wanting to relax. So, a difference between relaxation and again, I apologize, I can't think of the word right now, but so really it's important to get your blood flowing, and get your heart rate up, because that changes your state. And so again, writing down, what are the things that I enjoyed in the past that really brought me happiness? And what things do I do to try to move forward from the depression? And I did, you did tell me, this particular person did tell me that, they try to just do one task a day, just to get up and do one thing a day. And so I said, that's great, keep doing that, because you're at least, you can tell when someone says that you're wanting to change this. You want to get up and do something with your life, you like out in your day. You don't want to just lie in bed, that you're really trying to move past this feeling of depression by committing to getting up and doing that one thing. So that's fantastic, and that really is a huge step. So, you know, uh, just even thinking about, okay, like, what did I do in the past? I like to go bowling. I like to go for walks or coffees with my girlfriends. Is there someone that you can call up and, make a coffee date? And if the situation is you're in the home most of the time, in the house, and really it's just getting up and getting out of bed and doing one thing in the house, then that's great. Maybe the next day you're thinking about one thing that you could get outside and go do, whether it's walk around the block, whether it's go to, have a coffee, call up a girlfriend, meet them for coffee, making that taking that one step further to get out of the house and do something outside. So really looking at, and maybe this isn't something that you're going to do right now because, of course, when you're feeling depressed, you have no energy. And like you say, there's no motivation. So it's really hard to, work past that. And the biggest thing that I would say, even before you get to the journaling part, because again, I realize that you're not going to do that until you feel a bit better, is changing your state, which you can do inside your house, which you can do by, um, you know, putting on a song, putting on some music and dancing around, um, doing some yoga. So committing to, okay, 5 minutes today, I'm going to get out of bed, and for 5 minutes, I'm going to do something to change my state. Besides the one thing, keep doing that one thing that you're doing, to get out of bed and do something. So maybe you're getting up and it's, I'm going to do dishes today. Okay, great. So get your dishes washed. That's such an accomplishment. And then the next day, add, okay, I'm going to get up and do my dishes, but I'm also going to get up and put on music and dance around and, put a smile on my face and dance around. Just committing to doing that and keep doing adding something extra every day, because again, the physical exercise aspect is important because that's going to shift your state. And when your state is changed, then that's when you're going to move forward more. So then, maybe for a week you're doing a dance, you're doing yoga, you're just doing 5 minutes of jumping jacks, 5 push-ups a day. And then the next week you're going to go out and go for a walk around the block, just maybe even down the street and then around the block. And then, you're going to go further. And if you drive or whether you drive or take a bus, the next day, the week after that, you're going to go to a park where there's trees and nature and grass, and you're going to sit on a bench, walk for 30 minutes today. So these are all steps that you can take to move past that depression and become motivated again. And then when you've started to, make it that far, then I would look at sitting down and journaling and, you know, really looking back at the things that do bring you joy and happiness and fulfillment, and starting to remember a time when you felt joy and when you felt really fulfilled and passionate, and start to journal those things, because you need to almost retrain your mind and your brain to remember those times, to bring up those pictures in your mind, that visualization in your mind, to again look towards something that you might get back into. Um, so those are the things that I would tell you. And then there is another aspect. Now, I'm going to say that question, I'm putting it over to the side now. That's what I would start doing. Um, a little bit at a time. And I just want to say congratulations to you, because I'm really proud of you for, wanting to get out of bed and accomplish one thing a day, because that's important. So then on the other realm here is just something I'm going to talk about, that wasn't a question posed to me, but something that I know I kind of was thinking about when I was writing my book, was spiritual disease. Because I do think in our world today, there is a lot of spiritual dis-ease in our culture and in our world. And I don't think it's something that, like, I know if you went to a psychiatrist or psychologist, I'm sure they're not going to tell you that spiritual disease is something. Um, and, but I'm going to say that this is my opinion. This is my knowing that there is that as a society and as human beings, we've become so disconnected from so much, and it creates this spiritual disease or dis-ease. And so one is disconnection from people, from each other, um, disconnected, a disconnection to nature, a disconnection to, um, we've kind of, um, there's a hardening of, uh, and a desensitization, sorry, is the word I was searching for there, is a desensitization to horrible things that are happening. And because we see it so often, we become desensitized to it. And another thing that I always talk about that I think is really, really important is incorporating ritual into your everyday, because what that does is it creates a new neural pathway in our brain. And it also, I find that it also is going to help with, create that routine, which is going to expand our mind, expand, like I say, our neurons in our brain. And really, one of the key things is the getting out. But I know, like, for some people in my life, I'll tell them about, that they should do ritual, because I know that having that routine, that daily kind of routine of doing something is really important for them. After 21 days, it does become a habit. After 21 days, 30 days becomes a habit, and it just becomes second nature. It's just like if you were to take a course, you're expanding the brain and you're learning something. So then it keeps the brain really healthy and keeps the brain wanting to, expanding other cells and stuff like that. But so setting a ritual of a daily practice of getting up and, first nourishing the body. And, that's why too, I talk about in my book, having an altar space, having just a space where, you have candles, maybe you're bringing some nature inside. Um, I call it candle magic, but also it could just be setting intentions using colors of candles. It doesn't have to be called spell casting if that's not your thing. Um, Writing down an intention that you have. So, for instance, at the beginning of the week, writing on a piece of paper how you want to see your week go. Today, I want to be able to set an intention for my week running really smoothly, and me, reaching out to 5 people in this week if you're, an entrepreneur, or for this lovely lady I spoke about today, this week I want to be able to have 3 hours of fresh air in this week. And so writing any kind of intention that you're setting for yourself, whether you're an entrepreneur, a coach, a business owner, or um, you know, just anybody, writing that intention. And, if you have a shell and then you light that paper on fire and watch the smoke rise. It's a visual cue for your mind to see the smoke rise and going out to the universe. It's kind of, again, it's a ritual in terms of it's something that you do that's very visualized. That's very you can visualize, but also becomes symbolic, a symbol, and it's just, it will help you to set that intention, because really that is what spells are, is powerful intention. So having that space in your home where you can sit quietly, journal, um, light a candle, and whether you say a prayer, whether you set an intention, doing that, and then maybe now I talk about smudging is a really great thing to just clear all the stress away from the day, or whether you come home from work and take a shower, where that it's the negativity of your day is being released, or you're smudging, or incense, using something like that. All of those things are really important to do, and it just opens up a pathway that leads us to self-love, self-nurturing, and to gratitude, which as well helps us connect more with ourself and with our consciousness, and with our with our center. And I apologize, there's a word I want to say, but will connect us to our God source inside. Um, and so, yeah, so that's another thing, is just the spiritual dis-ease, the disconnection from nature, from each other. That's really important. And so, I would say to everybody is that, you know, if you set this intention for yourself to reconnect with old friends, or just reconnect with friends, get involved. And if you're in a city, there's meetup groups. Um, there's more than online, and there's lots of things that you can do to reconnect with people, to reconnect with nature, to reconnect with self. And all of those things are really, really important for our mental health. So, I hope that answers the question. Um, how can we, feel more motivated when we're depressed? So, yeah, so that's all I have for you today. Have a great day. Have a wonderful Sunday. And we will see you. Actually, we won't see you next Sunday. You might, actually. Yeah, you might see me next Sunday. Okay. Great, everybody. Namaste.